Alright, back on the Rich Van Tassel channel, giving you the weekly NBA report. Today is Tuesday, December 22nd, 2015. Start with our look at the Eastern Conference first. Cleveland continues to roll. They're up to 18 and 7. They've won 5 straight games now. Their differential is up to plus 6.2 points per game. They're playing very well. Now Kyrie Irving is back. And we're going to see if this team can go on a run here and really start establishing themselves for what they want to have the rest of the season. They may not, I don't want to say dip a little because I don't think this team is capable of dipping. They have too much talent. But they may just tread water for a little bit while they reincorporate Kyrie Irving. Anytime you're bringing a player of Kyrie Irving's caliber back into your lineup, it's going to take a bit of an adjustment, and he hasn't played at all this season. So maybe for the next week or so, I expect them to, hover around 500. They have that big Christmas Day game, but after that, I'm going to be very interested to see if this team can keep rolling and really establish themselves as we just discussed. Miami quietly having a very good year. They're up to 16 and 10. You got to give Coach Spoelstra a lot of credit. This was a poor team last year. Obviously, the return of Chris Bosh is really helping them out, and Dwayne Wade is starting to play up to his caliber now. His caliber for his age. He's obviously not the player he was back in 2008, 2009, 2010, but he's certainly still a great player and really helping this team. Indiana had been playing very well. They're now on a 2-game losing streak. Lost a tough one last night in San Antonio. San Antonio is undefeated at home. Again, the entire Eastern Conference is very competitive. Teams 1 through 10 are all over 500, and it's only a 4.5 game difference between those teams. The 1 is Cleveland, the 10 is the Boston Celtics, who are 4 and 5. Now, speaking of the Celtics, they had lost 3 straight. Were able to get a win last night against the struggling Minnesota Timberwolves, but it just shows that even a 3-game losing streak, the Celtics, I believe, were up to number 5, and then they've already dropped to number 10 just because they lost 3 games, and they were able to get a win in there even to stop the losing streak. So, very competitive Eastern Conference this year. Chicago continues to be up and down. They are now back on a 3-game losing streak after what appeared to have been riding the ship. They had won a couple games there, but they're now dropped to 15 and 11. Toronto quietly is probably the most consistent of the teams outside of Cleveland. They're up to 17 and 12. They've been playing well. I mean, they're only 1 win less than Cleveland. Obviously, now 5 more losses, but they really haven't been up and down this year. They haven't really lost to any teams they shouldn't have lost to. So, Toronto quite consistent this year. Washington continues to struggle. They're 6.5 games out of first, though, only the top of the conference, and only 3 games out of the playoff spot. They were able to win 2 straight games, but they're still minus 3.5 in their differential, really struggling, as well are the Milwaukee Bucks, who are minus 6.1 in their differential. I was expecting a lot more from the Milwaukee Bucks this season. They're struggling. Brooklyn, 8 and 20. They're a bad team. They're not an embarrassment as the Philadelphia 76ers are, who are now 1 and 28. It's really just gotten ugly in Philadelphia. I'm really wondering if this team's going to be able to win more than, say, 6 games this year. I don't think they're going to get to the or avoid the record for most losses in an 82-game season, which was 9 and 73, held by the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm not quite sure what the Charlotte Bobcats at the time, what their record was, or what their win percentage was. They were 7 and 59. I didn't figure that out off the top of my head. I don't know how many games the 76ers have to win to avoid that record. That is the worst team in history, but again, that was a strike or a lockout shortened season. All right, moving on to the Western Conference. Golden State hasn't really played much of late. They've won 2 straight since losing their first game. They're plus 13.4 in their differential, still playing very well. San Antonio, however, has won 6 straight. They are undefeated at home, 16 and 0 at home, as opposed to 8 and 5 on the road, 24 and 5 total. Their differential is plus 13.2. So you've got to look at San Antonio and believe that this team certainly has a shot to dethrone the Golden State Warriors, and that addition of LaMarcus Aldridge is truly starting to pay off. Oklahoma City, they are on a 2-game winning streak. Beat the Clippers last night by 1, 8 and 2 in their last 10. They're up to 19 and 9. Certainly, again, we discussed in the season preview. I didn't know where to put Oklahoma City. I wasn't sure how the dynamic was going to work with Kevin Durant. You can't trade the guy at this point, and well, I wouldn't think so. But in the NBA, you just never know. They may still even trade the guy just because out of that quote unquote fear of losing a guy for nothing. But are you really going to sabotage a championship potential season just so you don't lose the guy for nothing, so to speak. Dallas continues to hover around there at the fourth spot. Again, Clippers are now on a 3-game losing streak. They've been up and down all season, like the Chicago Bulls have been in the East. Houston now back above 500. They've won 3 straight games. There was some talk about trading Dwight Howard. I think they just need to calm down in Houston. They're now above 500. Let's see what they can do now. We're only 29 games in. I'd say over the next, you're probably going to play what, about 20 more games till the trade deadline, maybe a little more than that. Um, 25 in that area. Let's see how they do there before they even think about trading Dwight Howard. I think they overreacted with Kevin McHale. They got off to a slow start. I had this team winning the championship. I still think it's there. Obviously, Ty Lawson is not working out there in Houston. They still do have James Harden, and this was a team that made it to the Western Conference Finals last year. So I just hold the horses, so to speak, on Houston right now, and let's see what they do before you even think about trading Dwight Howard. Again, then when you get to the bottom, the Utah Jazz are the last team that will be in the playoffs. They're 2 games under 500, but are in the plus in their differential. Only half of a point, but still in the plus nonetheless. Sacramento continues to let me down this year, as well as the New Orleans Pelicans. Were 8-19. They're just struggling. They can't figure it out. I think Alvin Gentry is a good coach. We've discussed the Monty Williams situation, and they're replacing him with Alvin Gentry. It obviously looks bad now. I just don't think things are working out this year. I don't think it's indicative of Alvin Gentry being a bad coach. And again, Monty Williams, you could have fired him, you could have kept him. It was a 50-50 thing, so I don't think that was the worst move ever. And Portland, surprisingly, really struggling. They're on a 4-game losing streak. They're down to 11-19. But in the differential, they're only minus 1.3 points, so they're playing teams competitively. It's just not working out for Portland this year, and that's surprising with Damian Lillard. But they did lose LaMarcus Aldridge, and it's clearly showing right now. Lakers continue to struggle. No wonder Kobe Bryant's retiring. They'd be pretty much an embarrassment if it wasn't for the Philadelphia 76ers, that is. Sorry about that. They're really taking the pressure off the Los Angeles Lakers for how bad they're playing. They're going to struggle to win 15 games this year. You just never see that with the Los Angeles Lakers. But of course, they'll still be on national television all the time. All right, power rankings. We're still going to stay with Golden State number one. It's tough to dethrone them from that top spot at this point. They've responded to the loss with 2 straight wins. Let's see if they can go on another streak. Right on their heels, though, is the San Antonio Spurs at 24-5. They have to be number two. They are playing very well, and they would be a clear number one if there wasn't a team like a Golden State in the league right now. I mean, they would be clearly just a top team. They're playing so good, and it's just a shame that you have, well, not really a shame because you're going to get some competitive matchups, but it's just detrimental to them that they have to compete with the Golden State Warriors as far as power rankings, that is. Oklahoma City, I'm going to give it to number three. They're playing very well, up to 19-9. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Kevin Durant's really playing well. Russell Westbrook, again, he is a sensational player, and that's why I have them number three. Number four, the Cleveland Cavaliers. They are on a 5-game winning streak. It was a little tough for me to put Oklahoma City above them, but you got to give Oklahoma City a lot of credit. Cleveland, again, we said may just teeter just a bit here over this next week or so until they get Kyrie Irving into the flow of the game. But once that happens, you're really going to see what type of team Cleveland's going to be the rest of the way. And then number five, I'm going to go with the Miami Heat. You really have to give it to them. They are playing very well, up to 16-10, 6-4 in their last 10. Granted, their differential is only plus 1.9, so they're winning a lot of close games, as opposed to Indiana, who's plus 3.8. It was really nip and tuck with those teams. However, Miami, while it's only one game, has won their last game, and Indiana is on a 2-game losing streak, so that's where I draw the differential between the two. Alright, so that is your weekly NBA report for Tuesday, December 22nd, 2015. We will be back Christmas Eve to give you a breakdown of that game. I believe it's the Oakland Raiders against the San Diego Chargers. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And remember, we will not be on the radio at all this Friday. So the rest of the game picks will come probably Saturday because Christmas is Friday. So thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.